Welcome back to another video, and today we will be going through the newest makeup releases and announcements. Welcome back, and today we will be going through the newest makeup releases that have been announced or sneak peeked lately, and these have been the announcements from the last few weeks because I do this video every other week. But I'm gonna go move to the side and get my phone, and we will actually start. And okay, let's maybe go through first some stuff that was maybe sneak peeked last time I did this, or there were like some products announced but not everything. And first let's go through the Manu MUA's Lunar Beauty's newest launch. So this is something that was in my last makeup news video. I told that I knew that there was an announcement coming, but Mani hadn't yet released the product, but you did see the image of this. But now we actually I can now actually talk about this more. So in this release there was what was the name of this collection? So this was called Moonshroom collection by Lunar Beauty. So this is very I'd say has this sort of fairy and mushroom theming around it. And in this collection there's an eyeshadow palette, there's a highlighter palette, and then there are 3 very sparkly lip glosses. And I do have to say the eyeshadow palette is kind of interesting. This was available on Bougie Shop, but the eyeshadow palette has sold out already. However, I did notice that I think the highlighter palette and the lip glosses are still available. So if you're looking for a European retailer, then Bougie Shop, I don't know, will they also get the palette restocked at some point. But the lip glosses and highlighters are still available, and I don't know if this will become available on Monolith at some point, because I do know that Monolith Shop is another European retailer that has stocked Lunar Beauty's launches previously. The palette kind of reminded, I did see quite a lot of comments about this, and I actually did kind of think about this myself. But Raw Beauty had a collaboration with Raw Beauty Christie, I think is the whole name of the creator, and she had a all matte, or it was almost all matte. There were 2 shimmers, but almost all matte eyeshadow palette with the Colourpop, I think a couple of years ago, which was quite popular. And a lot of people were making the comparison, and I also did think that this kind of looks like it's not similar, obviously, because this has much more shimmers, and there are some more different tones of colors, but they are kind of in the same ballpark. So if you Google the sort of Raw Beauty Christie and Colourpop collab, you will see that the palette, I would say that Mani's palette certainly, I'm not saying that he copied it or anything, but he might have been there might be some inspiration. The highlighter quad looks it looks pretty, but because the quad has also darker highlighter shades, this is again something that I would not want to buy, because there are shades that would not suit my skin tone. But if you like Lunar Beauty's highlighters and you collect these, then this could also be very nice. And the lip glosses look kind of pretty. I was kind of eyeing the pinkish sparkly shade, that it would be actually something I'd be interested in. This is a bit of 50-50, do I want to get this, because it has been a while since I have tried Lunar Beauty. I had the sort of neutral palette from the brand. It was the one that had the Medusa image of Medusa on the cover of it. It was this sort of Greek goddess themed collection all around, and it has been I think first more kind of neutral palette at Lunar Beauty. However, that palette has been long ago discontinued, because it was, I think, one of the first releases that he ever came out with. But I haven't ever since tried the brand, but I do believe that the brand's quality, I liked the palette's quality back then when I tried the brand, and I do believe that it has also it has still gotten quite good reviews. So I will see if this palette comes back in stock, and if there is a makeup budget left, then this could be something that I could be interested. But I do believe that if you are, for example, in US, then this probably is available. You can obviously buy it from Mani's own website. But yeah, I think that was the first one. And then the second one is the NYX birthday collection. So I did show we had seen the sort of golden sparkly lip butter gloss, and we were all thinking that what part, because it seemed so random that we had only seen one sneak peek of this one sparkly gloss and not really any other information. But now we actually do have information, so you will see the palette and now all the other lip gloss shades. So this is NYX's 35-year birthday collection, and within this collection there's the Ultimate Party on Sunset eyeshadow palette, which is one of these big 32 shade palettes that NYX does. This has This is, I think, quite of a typical palette that it has half neutrals and half pinks and purples, but this is the kind of color story that I do know sells quite a lot, so it is quite obvious that why NYX does this. I know NYX has reformulated their eyeshadows. I did try one of their eyeshadow palettes previously. It was the Utopia something, and it was the like smaller version of it, because with the previous like line of palettes before the reformulation, they had these the big 32 pan versions, and then they had smaller, I think they were 16 pans or something, and I tried the Utopia, I think it was the 16 pan version, but I wasn't very like impressed with that. I think the quality was quite, it was very mediocre, and I have always said this that here in Europe NYX isn't exactly a cheap drugstore brand to buy, so I was kind of, after that I haven't bought any NYX eyeshadows, and now that they have reformulated, I've been trying to kind of see that if they would have come out with a color story that like, but so far not the birthday palette or their previous like smaller palettes they have come out, this isn't something that I want to spend my money on. However, something that I am a bit curious about are these. So these are now the Butter Glosses. Butter Glosses that we had seen, the one like big, and apparently the golden shade is in some sort of like limited edition, and it's like an extra big packaging, but along with that one there is like a full range of shades in their sort of normal sized packaging, and I am the sort of the reddish and the pinkish shades are looking like very pretty, so I am actually, I checked the price of this was a bit over. Boozy Shop actually already has these, and it was like almost like €6.95 in euros, so actually quite not really that expensive for like compared to some other NYX products. So the like sparkly lip butter, a sparkly butter gloss, this could be actually something that I could be interested in. I do know that not all people are a fan of like sparkly glosses, but I am, so this is actually something that I am considering to get, because it's not that expensive even in euros. Now let's get back to the sort of, so these were the products I sort of wanted to get back on, because we had sort of seen something about them, but not all. But let's now get actually the new stuff that I haven't spoken about. So first one, L'Oreal is coming out with the LorealPro Infallible Cover Powder. So this is belonging to their Infallible line, which is the more like heavy coverage line, and they had come out with the setting spray that has been apparently very popular, because I think the shelves has been quite empty, at least in our local retailers that have sold it, so I think it might have been doing the rounds on TikTok or something. And now they have announced this sort of mattifying and oil control pressed powder. So this looks like an very it's a pressed powder, so it's obviously what it's meant to do is that it's meant to like prevent shine from coming through. I am actually I am going to be in need of a new powder soon, and as we are approaching the sort of summer months, I am maybe gearing towards moving from the sort of loose powders, which are a bit more heavier, to maybe something a bit more like not so heavy, which I think pressed powders are very good for, especially summertime, because I'm someone who's still like, I have bit oily leaning skin, but on summertime I don't want anything too heavy, so that's why on summertime I do actually prefer pressed powders. And I actually went to some of our like department stores last week, and I was sort of eyeing that maybe was this already available, because there has been a couple of products with L'Oreal that they have sort of appeared in the European like retailers and stores, and then L'Oreal has sort of then after announced them after people have seen them on stores. But this is something that I have not seen, at least yet in our retailers, so I don't know, is this something that they will be releasing in North America first, but this could be maybe a powder that I could maybe try out. Then let's go to Lisa Eldridge. So previous video I did discuss the Lisa Eldridge, that she was coming out with a skin tint, and that has been now released. But along with the skin tint, and this was something that I didn't know that would release with it, but now because the skin tint has come out, this was also something that was released alongside with. So these are the lip liners. So Skin True Tones are at the heart of this effortless and easy to use natural enhanced lip pencil. So it's a basic lip pencil. Considering how popular Lisa Eldridge's lipsticks have been, and I also think her maybe matte liquid lipstick has been something that has gotten quite a lot of praises, I am not surprised that she's expanding her line now with lip liners, because I think that's very natural sort of way to go when she's like trying to fill in the gaps within her line. But these are now, along with the lip tint, available on her website. And how much are these? I assume $28 US each, so Lisa Eldridge is definitely a higher end brand and it does show in the price of these. Then next, something that's exciting, but unfortunately this is available to not available to me. So Give Beauty by Gwen Stefani, that is sold in US Sephora's, but unfortunately Give Beauty is not available in the European Sephora's. We did actually recently have House Lab now releasing in the European Sephora's, which is quite exciting because hopefully when I will be able to travel to some other European countries that have Sephora, I might actually now be able to pick up House Labs. But unfortunately Give Beauty, it's still not available here in Europe, I don't think at any retailer, so this is mainly for the US people. But anyway, about the launches, there's first the Dewyplump Collagen Boosting Cheek Tint, so this is another liquid blush and these are kind of looking pretty. We all know I don't need more blushes, but if these were available, and considering that Give Beauty, I have seen their like the price ranges, they aren't the most like expensive brand that's on the Sephora, so that also kind of benefits for them. I think from the shades, I'm trying to look at the shade names, and maybe the Bouquet shade would actually be something that I would be kind of interested in, because it is like it's like a muted rose red, like it's not full on red, but it's a muted rose red, so yeah. So that's the first one that released, and this is $26 US, so this is what I meant, that it's not like the most expensive thing that Sephora has. And along with it, the Give also launched, there were some Dewyplump Collagen Lip Gels, so these are lip glosses, and yeah, maybe like this is like glosses that has more of a shiny finish rather than a sparkly finish, so this would not be something that I would be running out to buy, but these are also like, how much are these? $24 US. So yeah, again, not the most expensive thing on a US Sephora. So from the Give launches, if the brand would be available, I would probably be buying one of the blushes, but the glosses are not something that I'm not as excited at, but these are already like available if you're living in States. And then something that Makeup Forever came out with, and they are expanding their sort of like their cheek palette. So Makeup Forever, I think it was it last year that they came out with this? So I think originally they came out with two variations, one for fair to light and one to like an, I think the other one was supposed to be the deeper and more tan to deeper skin tones, but this is actually something that they are. Makeup Forever HD Skin Face Essential Full Face Cream Palette, and okay, so they are advertising this as an, no. Okay, so there is actually two variations, now I'm reading this. So there is a light to medium palette and tan to deep palette, so even with this one, this has more of an, I'd say this has more of a berry and reddish undertones compared to the like palettes they came out lastly. So there is a like two palettes, but they are like a variation of the same one. But I still like, again, this is a brand that I could get if I travel abroad to some other European country that has a Sephora. I think I did eye on these last year when I was visiting a country that did have a Sephora in it, and I was kind of considering it, but then I thought that there is still like quite a lot of like, the cream blush shades certainly would be something that I would be like get quite a lot of use out of, but the contouring side is something that probably I would not get like full use out of it, considering that these are quite still on the more expensive side, because these are $88 US each, and I think in euros the price is quite similar or even like a bit higher. So these will be, I think, available soon if they aren't already, and there are two variations of it, but for me this is not something that I would be running out to go and buy. So next, SUQQU. So last time we talked about SUQQU, they had this sort of pre-summer, it was spring, they advertised it as a pre-summer spring collection, but now this is apparently their like summer collection. So this is called Touch of Nectar collection, and there are some, let's see, lip and cheek balms, there is a for two eyeshadow quads, then there are lip glosses and nail polishes, and we all know that the polishes aren't something that I don't use, because you have all seen my nails, they aren't exactly in a good condition, but let's stick on the makeup. I'm gonna say this looks very like pretty. I have said that SUQQU is one of those higher end brands that I have been like thinking about that would be nice and interested to buy, but I haven't like still made the, like, actually ordered anything. SUQQU is a brand that I think I can get on Cult Beauty, so I would not have to order this from like all the way from Japan or some other place. But I have to say, like, the quads are, for especially when we consider what luxury brands usually do, these quads are like very, I'd say, even like interesting. Granted, I think SUQQU is one of those brands that the eyeshadow shades are more of a wash-off color, so I don't know how pigmented these would be, but I mean, for example, the other quad that has the pink and then there's the lilac, but then there's the sort of khaki green and brown, like, I think that's quite interesting. And even the, like, the more warmer quad, because I do think that yellow, green and orange are sort of one color combination we have seen, but even that looks like very interesting. The lip and cheek balms, usually these usually it's either, so either these perform well on your lips or on your cheek, but usually they don't work. But maybe because SUQQU is a luxury brand, maybe these could actually work. I am kind of digging the very hot bright, almost like pinkish reddish shade that is on the, like, under the sort of orangey yellow quad. Then I'm trying to see the lip gloss is slimy. I mean, the packaging looks quite. Let's see about the. I'm trying to see the. It's a bit hard to say what the glosses are because the glosses have sort of an ombre packaging, so I don't actually know that are these more sort of a pigmented gloss as they seem like at the end of the tube, or are they actually more like a sheer gloss, but the mauve shade could be like something that if I would hypothetically order these, then the mauve shade would probably be something that I would get. But I don't still think this is going to be it for me, but I will like give SUQQU a credit. This is a very like eye-catching and still like very, I'd say, on-brand summer launch for considering that they are a more of a luxury brand. Then another luxury release. So Dior has announced their summer 2024 collection and there is a lot here. So they are doing this so that they are like having releases on their main line and then on their backstage line. And from like Trendmood's image, there is they are in the backstage line. They are bringing out 2 more shades of the blushes, and I am saying that the more lilac shade of the blush is kind of an interesting addition. But we do know that lilac blush has been getting quite a lot of hype, especially this year. But I am also liking the bright coral one. However, I am thinking that is this bright corally red one quite similar to the like bright cherry red blush that they already like extended on their line like last year. So I'd be very interested to compare especially those 2 shades in the store and see that are they actually a bit too samey. And my understanding has been that these aren't like super pigmented, so that too. Then we have the quints. We all know that after the after I had the unfortunate luck with the holiday Christmas quint last year, I am not spending my money on these. These look cute. I am kind of liking the other quint that has the sort of pop of yellow with the peach, even though otherwise it's quite neutral. And the other quint, like, because I do think that on their spring launch they already had quints that had lilacs and pinks in it, so I'm not exactly like liking that also that one of the summer quints looks quite similar in terms of color tones that they already came out in their spring quints, but oh well. Then they are coming out with some of their like extending their sort of lip balms or glosses, and I think is the other one of their liquid lipsticks. I think that might be the more sort of like berry reddish one, might be a liquid lipstick. And then we are having this sort of because Dior came out with their own like version of this Charlotte Tilbury, I don't know now remember the product name, but their sort of own version of the Charlotte Tilbury Flawless Filter, meaning a liquid highlighter. And I actually have now, I managed to finally arrived in a store, and I managed to get the pink shade, and the store clerk already told me that the pink shades were like selling out, even though just they recently had the products in stock. But so this one that I'm looking at from the summer collection, it looks like this sort of peachy golden shade, and I think that it is a bit like, because in the imagery I think it's having to do that the shadow is making it look quite dark, but actually swatch on the skin here that I'm looking at the Trendmood image is actually, it is looking like quite of an, how should I say, a peachy shade with a golden shift. So this could be that if it's not as dark as the bottle makes it now seem, then this could also be something that I could be interested in. So altogether from the Dior Summer collection, I think like maybe the backstage blushes, depending how, because I would like to like try one of these out, but I have had quite mixed reviews of these, and some people have said that the backstage blushes, they do hit hard pan quite quickly. And then maybe one of the glowy, the sort of liquid highlighters, if it's a shade that, if it's like not too dark on my skin tone. I have no idea when these are going to be coming out. It just said that coming soon, but I assume because these have been now sneak peek, then probably not. No, it won't take that long. Next, let's go to something that I was a bit, how should I say, I was momentarily wondering what brand launched this, but apparently this is Patrick Starr's brand, and One Size Beauty again I think is a brand that is not... I'm trying to think, it might be that Patrick Starr is available on some European makeup retailers, but it's not widely available. It's not, for example, something that if you would have to ask me where you can order it online here in European Union, I could not tell, because it has been one of those brands that's a bit harder to get. But they have, the brand has collaborated with the, what is the Wicked, yeah, Wicked the musical, and while I think the highlighter and the brushes and even the setting spray, which I think is Patrick Starr's brand, like known products, those look okay, but I do have to say, like, I'm really sorry this is gonna sound mean, but the palette looks like, I honestly thought this was a Makeup Revolution palette when I saw it. It just looks like I think the cover is already like quite good, but something about the inside design just makes it look like it could be like another one of Makeup Revolution collaborations, because it has this sort of, it's split from the middle, and there are like two blushes, and then there are like two different sides of shadow, which I do know is because of the character. So there's the good witch, and then I think there's the bad witch. I'm sorry, I haven't seen the musical obviously, but this is what I like know from it based on reading internet. But it's just something about the way the pans are laid out and how the coloring is made, and just something about this like makes it look a bit cheap. And I do know that while One Size isn't like horribly expensive, it is also not the most like cheapest of brands. So yeah, the Eye and Face palette is $49 US. It could be that the eyeshadow quality is very good on this, so I'm not gonna just pass judgment based on packaging, but just the packaging would not make me want to buy this. But this I think is coming on in the beginning of, oh wait a second, now it's March, so next month, yeah. So this is releasing in the beginning of April, so if you like the Wicked music or if you're a Patrick Starr fan, then this is gonna be soon available. Now let's go to how should I say, Pat McGrath is continuing making us all like very disappointed. So this was again something that Pat McGrath put this sort of huge like teasers online, and there were like very like this sort of extravagant videos made of it, and then what they ended up releasing was that Pat McGrath came out with her own version of the pink powder in a pressed format, and I initially, when I saw the teaser of this, I was kind of hoping that, oh, maybe she is, because there was quite a lot of talk about glowiness in the like promotional video material before this was released, so I was thinking that, oh, maybe she's coming out with new highlighters, which, yeah, that could have been fun, but apparently no. So I'm gonna say this is like very dull, and Pat McGrath is quite late on this trend, because I think we had the like onslaught of pink powders like at the end of last year. Now we have had the sort of pace where now drugstore brands are coming out with their pink powders, but I think from Pat McGrath especially, I think for her to be on trend as a higher-end brand, I think she should have released this like at the like end of last year, when most of the like higher-end brands were coming out with their version of this one. But yeah, I'm just gonna say, like, I haven't tried Pat McGrath's powder, even though I am quite a big fan of her cheek products. Her cheek products generally are the most exciting thing she seems to only come out with these days, because the eyeshadow palettes are just samey. This is like $35 and she's advertising this more as an under eye powder, which, yeah, because the pink powder on, for example, on my skin tone, I think this would be a good brightening product. But I'm just gonna say that I probably like, because I mean, the packaging of this is quite basic, and this even comes in the sort of like because she has released some of minis of her products, usually in this like cheap kind of plastic packaging, and this is one of those products, so it is not exactly like heightening the value of this and making me want to pay over $30 for this. So unless you're like a very huge Pat McGrath powder fan, then maybe see is there like pink powder options like already out on the market that might be a bit more cheaper. But yeah, I mean, this is just, well, I suppose we should have like already like expected this, that considering that Pat McGrath has been releasing has been just more disappointing fans lately. But I think that considering that I also was once a very big Pat McGrath fan, I would just like hope that maybe the brand could rebound somehow, but that's not apparently happening. Oh, then actually, hey, another L'Oreal product that actually, this was a product that again was actually something that just popped out in stores, and then it took like a week or so that I saw that L'Oreal actually made the announcement of this one. So this is actually something that's actually already, at least here in Europe, is available. So this is the L'Oreal Paris revamping, and this is a revamped product. So this is their Lumi Glotion Natural Glow Enhancer. So this is a re-release, but I don't, somebody like, somebody can roast me about this, but I don't think I have at least seen in here, at least in Europe, any like our local L'Oreal stores, but also when I've been traveling in other European countries, I haven't seen this before, but apparently this is like a revamped product. But again, this is like a liquid highlighter, so this is continuing the trend that we are having right now, that everyone is coming out with their own version of a liquid highlighter. This is in the sort of more of a tube packaging. And this has 4 shades, so there's fair, light, and medium and deep. That's quite an, like, I think that's the minimum bear we are expecting, especially considering that L'Oreal is a big brand, so they do have resources to put into making multiple shades. I don't think, like, I am more a fan of a packaging of having this, because if you watch my, for example, recent video from the sort of first impression products, I, for example, have tried out the Essence sort of a glowy highlighter that they came out on their spring edit recently. Because I only use mine for highlighting my cheekbones, I can't wear these as a sort of under base product all over because of my more oily leaning skin. So I think for me this might be a bit too much of a product. But if you are someone especially who, aside from like spot highlighting, is using this, for example, under your makeup, then actually this could be a good packaging size. And L'Oreal is like, it is on the mid-range of drugstore, but it's also not the most expensive of drugstore, so like not the most expensive brand on the market. So, and they are widely available. So if you spot this and you're sort of interested in this kind of product, at least in Europe this is already available. Can't say anything about the US yet. And then something that Rare Beauty released. So Rare Beauty has released glowy highlighters, and I have seen quite a lot of like influencers being excited about this, but I'm just gonna say straight out, this looks like it's gonna be eyeshadow on my cheek. So for me this looks like it's too glowy. So I think I'm more of a fan of a matte blush, or a blush that has a bit of an like glowiness but not like sparkles to it, or if it's like a super shiny blush, then I'm not a fan. And this looks like a product that would actually look like more prettier spread on my eyelid, which you can, because it's a powder product, obviously you can use this wherever you want on your face. But for me this Rare Beauty is something that I could get from online from a couple of stores, even though it's not a brand that I can get locally here. But for me this looks like this would be like too glowy, but especially if you do like this sort of glowy highlighting blush look, then this could be very good product to buy. And I do know that many people love Rare Beauty's blushes and their other products. But this is going to be, when is this going to be available, or is it already? It doesn't say in the captation, but I assume because usually I think with Rare Beauty they announce their products quite close to release, and this is soon going to be at least available on Sephora's. I do have to say, like, the shades of this are quite pretty. They are, a lot of them are a bit pink leaning in terms of shade range, but for me this is just a preference thing why I am not running and buying these. Then let's go to some more luxuries. This is summer release, so this is the Guerlain, and I think this is their summer release. So there are new lip oils. They have a new quad, and then they have the meteorite sort of powder pearls in the sort of limited edition packaging. And this packaging is like very, like, the quad is nice, but it's not something that I would spend my money on, because the Guerlain quads are quite expensive. I think they are like over 80 euros, at least in our department stores. The lip oils look like cute, but if I buy a lip oil, I usually can find something on drugstore that does the job. But the packaging of the meteorites, even though I'm not the person that likes to use this kind of a complexion product, like for the sake of the packaging, like this would be very tempted. And actually I will give them credit. So there are there's like 4 different shades of the meteorite pearls, because I do know that Guerlain in past has gotten some critique, and rightfully so, that they have come out with this limited edition meteorite pearl pearls, but they have only come out with them on one shade. But now they have actually, like, there are 4 shades to cater to different skin tones, so that's a very good thing. So more people can enjoy this. But I'm not gonna obviously like spend, because these are $72 each, and I think I might have seen them like €75 might be the price this might go in our retailers. I'm not obviously spending that to get the fancy packaging, but these look like very still very tempting, even though I don't care what's the inside of it, I just want the pretty packaging in this case. Let's go to some indie releases, and I do say actually, like, indie brands have been, well, we did go the Lunar Beauty, so that was obviously an indie launch because Manny owns his own brand, but it has been a bit quiet in terms of indie releases, I think, during the last couple of weeks. But anyway, Unearthly Cosmetics, though, the owner of the Unearthly Cosmetics, and she has her own YouTube channel. I would very warmly recommend following her channel if you want to know what she's like developing, and she always showcases and sneak peeks the products before launch, and even like ask fan like and consumer feedback, which is very great for a brand owner. But she has now like shown on a live the upcoming products, and I do think that this is supposed to be, yeah, so this is going to be the Unearthly spring launch, and unlike the Valentine's Day one, which you could only buy in the box, these will be available to buy separately, which I do think is good, because I think most people, like, I do know that there are people who want to buy the whole set, but I think most people want to buy like just some products and not maybe everything. So this is going to be like a pre-order product, which is, well, it is what it is with indie brands, and these will be sort of estimated shipping date of the Spring Magic collection is at the end of end of April, and there's a Spring Magic eyeshadow palette, there's a blush palette, there are liquid highlighters, and then there is a lip gloss, yeah. So the palette is gonna be $78, and I'm thinking that if this is going to be something that's gonna become available at Monolith Shop, Unearthly might be one of those brands that there is a bit of hike in the price. So this could go somewhere between 80 and 90 euros, but if you want to sort of wait this to be available on a European retailer. I do say that the palette, like the image, because this has been like a screen capture from the live, this is like more, and in the live the sort of lighting that the brand owner uses is a bit like darker, so I would like to see this maybe also in the daylight. But like initial impression based on these images, it is kind of a nice palette that has sort of mix of, like, there's a red side, there's a more neutral side, and then they have these blues and greens, and I do think that the shimmers look like very pretty. The blush palette is, I think, geared towards more deeper skin tones. Like, there are a few shades that, a few like lighter shades, but there are also like more of the shades look to be a bit on the deeper side, which of course is, I think, very good that we have like different product to different people, people with different skin tones. Not everything has to fit us pale people, because there are plenty of products made for us. And then there I'm looking at the liquid highlighters. I think these are maybe a bit too sparkly for my taste. The lip gloss kind of looks like quite pretty, but it's also quite on the sparkly side. I think what I am most interested in would be like the eyeshadow palette, but I would really like to wait and maybe see this in some other kind of sort of lighting conditions, because the lighting conditions in the live has been like bit on the dark side. And maybe see that if this becomes available on Monolith Shop, then see what the price will be, because if like it's a nice palette, but for example, that if this would be like on the €90 mark, then I think that's a bit like too, I wouldn't like pay that much of it. But yeah. So anyway, if you want this, you will have to take part in the pre-order and be prepared that it might take some time before the products arrive. But that is unfortunately with indie brands, because they can't afford to like have big stock beforehand. So that is just the reality of it. Then Colourpop, and I do have to say Colourpop has been like they are continuing with the trend that they did last year, that they are now coming out with sort of less products, and I think people have been like liking that, and they are actually coming out with more like basic products. So Colourpop has come out with the Glossy Plump Balms and Lipliners. So I'm surprised it actually took them this long to have. So these are the sort of clicky pen products that we have seen like already from like drugstore brands, higher end brands, like everyone's coming out. Just like I said that everyone's coming out with their version of a liquid highlighter, Colourpop is, everyone's coming out with their version of these clicky pens, and Colourpop is now the next one. The shade looks like a bit like the shade range looks a bit basic, I'd say. Like there are few neutral tones, one a bit darker, then there's a very orangey one and one a pink one. And then they have come out with these lip liners, and these are retractable lip liners and not the sharpenable ones. And these are apparently visibly plump. Are these gonna be like the two-faced lip liners that apparently hurt everyone? Yeah, maybe not so excited about the lip liners, but if you especially live in US where Colourpop is easily accessible to you and you want to try this Colourpop version of it, this should be also... This is actually coming out on the last week of March, so you will be... Or so last week, yeah, I'm filming this on Easter, so this is actually already available. So if you're interested in this one, this is available on Colourpop's website, and it's $10 each, so I think the price of this is quite decent. Now let's go to actually more lip products. So Rem Beauty has announced their new glossy balms. So these are, yeah, so these are sort of, I was thinking, are these like lip glosses or balms? I think these are actually more like lip glosses based on at least how the applicator looks like. And what are they supposed to be doing? Essential Drip Glossy Balm, made with hyaluronic acid and pomegranate and passion fruit antioxidants to hydrate and restore lips, and 6 shades. Again, the shade range, just like with the Colourpop, like, I'm not saying that, obviously there are so many only lip colors you can do, but I mean there's like two brownish one, and then there's a very deep, like dark deep purple one, and we have a red one, and then there are two pinkish shades. Not something again that I would be like running out to buy, but Rem Beauty is actually one of those brands. For example, here in Europe, Rem Beauty is sold through Sephora's. I do know that not in, I think, all the places Sephora stocks them, but in here in Europe you can get Rem Beauty from Sephora's, and for us it is again one of those more like inexpensive brands that you can get from Sephora's, and it is launching in the beginning of April. So actually quite a lot of launches coming out in the beginning of April, so maybe do a bit of budgeting beforehand what you want to spend your money on. Then finally, this is a product that I think even I have showed in my makeup news, and I think half of makeup community has been wondering when these are actually gonna release, and now we finally have them. And Rihanna has been showing this now on the Fenty Beauty's Instagram. So we finally have the Demi'Glow, Fenty Beauty Demi'Glow highlighters they have been now officially announced. There are now promotional images, and there's apparently a highlighter brush also that comes along with this one. And so at the end we have now 8 confirmed shades, and the shade range is quite good because Rihanna's brand has been very good at making like multiple shades, and we have like now that I've been seeing the shades, I am a bit looking at the pinky, the too much shade, that would be quite pretty. However, I would have to see in store how much of a base does it actually have. These are gonna be $40 each, so if you want to shell out the money for this, then truly maybe see that is this really a product that you want, because $40 from a highlighter, that is quite a lot, and I assume it's not gonna be, for example in euros, it's at least not gonna be any cheaper. So yeah, actually it says that there's 9 shades. In the photo there's only 8, so I assume 1 is missing. But anyway, these are at least I think available on Fenty Beauty's own website, and I assume these will be trickling down to their retailers soon. It might actually take some time, for example, that this will get to our retailers, but I really want to get one of these, but they're like, because if it's $40, it's at least gonna be 40 euros or even more. Like at the worst this could be like 50 or something, so but it looks so pretty. I don't think I need, like I definitely don't need another highlighter, but this like the packaging of it and everything, and the pinkish shade, those are like very much calling for me, but I do not, there could be like so much other makeup I would get for like the same amount, but this is definitely on the stronger side on my will buy list. So, some more higher end cheap product releases. So, apparently these are available in Europe. I haven't seen this yet on our Armani beauty like stands, but I assume this will come soon. So, this is the new Luminous Silk Sunlit Cream Bronzing Powder. Wait a second. Creamy bronzing powder. So, it is a powder product, but it's creamy, so it's some sort of a hybrid formula. Ultra creamy bronzing brow powder that creates an instant Mediterranean glow that will make you look like you're just back from the Italian coast. That's quite a nice and that's a nice marketing image to put into your head. There seems to be 4 shades, at least from the image I'm looking at Trendmood right now, and yeah, it shows also in the promotional photo with hand swatches that there are like 4 shades. How expensive are these? It just says that coming soon. I assume because this is Armani Beauty and the bronzer is like, it looks very huge when you look at the sort of hand that's holding the product on the swatch image. So considering that there are small blushes that are actually quite small in real life, and those are already like somewhere like I think 50-60 euro mark, I think these will be also like 17 to 80 euros. If you have seen these on your local retailer, drop down in the comments what was the price of these. But I assume this is going to be a skip for me because the undertones look to be quite warm, and I don't need this. Like I have like bronzers and contour powders that I use, and I don't need like this big of a new one in my collection. But if you're a fan of Armani Beauty, then look out for your retailers because these will most likely pop in soon. Then some more contouring bronzing type products. So Too Faced is finally hopping into the cream contour bronzing theme, and they have come out with their Loreal melting bronzing and sculpting sticks. So these are stick sort of bronzers or bronzers that you can also use for obviously for sculpting. So, and there are 4 shades. I'm actually thinking there's 4 shades from Too Faced though. I think for such a big brand they could do better. I mean, I'm looking at the gradient from the 4 shades is quite good. The lightest shade, which is chocolate mousse, looks quite actually something that would actually fit sort of even my palest skin tone. And the chocolate lava one does look quite deep, but I am still thinking that they could maybe have done a few more shades. This is going to be $35 US, so if you live in Europe, then it's gonna be probably a bit more or less considering how the conversion goes in your region. But are these already available on there? I think it's already like at least available on Too Faced's website, and I do assume like we have also like there's a retailer that actually have Too Faced stands in store, so I could actually go in store and check this when this comes in. But yeah, that's another bronzing product. Let's then go to some complexion. So this was Anastasia Beverly Hills has come out with their Beauty Balm Serum Boosted Skin Tint. So this is essentially a stick foundation, and I'm looking at this, and this seems to be more on the glowier side. So this is supposed to be sheer to light coverage, delivering natural finish at 8 skin loving ingredients. So this is probably not gonna be a product for me because already on the sticks that I'm seeing on the promotional images, this is looking to be quite of a glowy product, and I do actually I do like my products to have some coverage in them. The shade range looks quite okay. The palest shades looks like it's very almost like white, but I do know that there are actually people who have fair skin tone that literally are almost like they would need a white foundation. And then the darkest shades, like I do think the shade gradients is bit leaning on the lighter side because honestly the shades from 4 to I think all the way to 8, like those I think do look quite similar to B. So I think from the shades between 4 to 8 they could have maybe done a bit better job, because those two look like the shades between those look very similar. But this is going to be $42 US. I wouldn't pay that much for it, because with these sort of stick foundations, and I have used a couple of in the past, with those ones I do feel that you still have to use quite a bit of it to get the ideal result. So I don't, unless you're really using light coverage of these, I do think the $42 is a bit expensive for these, even though it is ABH. Then let's go to another bronzer. So Sephora Collections, which is Sephora's in-house brands, they have also announced new matte bronzing powders, and I do think Sephora Collections had before bronzing powders, so I don't know is this that they are revamping these or are these sort of a shade extension. And I'm seeing on the promotional photo there seems to be 5 of these. The undertones are looking a bit like, because the few darker ones, like one of them looks almost purple, one of them looks almost like red, and then we have 3 like more fair ones. Well, the second one looks to be more cool tone, so that would fit me. This multitasking bronzer also helps to smooth and soften the appearance of skin for flawless complexion all day long. Fine and weightless powder formula. So these are going to be $16 each. I haven't seen these yet on European Sephora's websites. There are a few that I do check regularly, but I assume these will come soon because usually the Sephora collection stuff comes fast. The packaging actually looks quite nice. For considering that this is more like, because it's like Sephora's own in-house brand, usually it's the packaging isn't as luxe as some of the other like Sephora brands, but obviously they are also more inexpensive compared to other brands on the Sephora. But yeah, now let's get to the, I'd say, last ones, and let's go to, so these are both from like Chinese brands that I did say that did get a lot of like, I saw this a lot in my social media feed. So Flower Nose has released the, what is this called? Never Families. So this is, yeah. So this is the sort of dog themed, very cute looking collection. Like Flower Nose is known for this sort of very extravagant packaging, and then they have these very like cute themes, and this is dog themed. And I'm looking at the, there are like, looking at all those lip things in the jar, I think those might be cheek products, and then they have like powder cheek products. Sorry, I meant like liquid type of cheek products. So cake blushes, eye palette, powder blushes, yeah. So the ones in the sort of cutesy jars that you're seeing, those are like sort of cream blushes, I think. Then they have the powder blushes in the hard compacts, and then there's the eyeshadow palette, which is like very cute looking neutralish pinkish eyeshadow palette, but not something that I would be interested in. I think Flower Nose is one of those brands that technically I would like to try. I have seen that they have gotten quite a lot of reviews, however the brand also sends out quite a lot of PR to creators, so take that as you will, but generally I do still think that they have gotten like decent reviews. But I say that the biggest issue is that, for example, none of their eyeshadow palettes like they really pull on me, so I haven't like, it hasn't gotten me want to make the order because these do come from China and the shipping does take some time. Then the last, and this was a new to me brand, so this is called Colorrose Official, and this is again one of like these sort of Chinese brands, and this is called Water Ripple Series, and this was something that I think that a lot of people like thought that, because this looks aesthetically really pleasing, like I can't deny it. So there seems to be 2 eyeshadow palettes, and then we have some ombre blushes or highlighters, though both of these look quite pale. Let's go through first the palettes. I actually do kind of like the sort of mauvish pink looking palette that has sort of a bit of mint in it, but a lot of these shadows do look quite, how should I say, the shades look quite pale, so for considering the pigmentation level that I like in my eyeshadow, I would not know, and usually some of these Asian eyeshadows can be a bit more sheer, so I don't know would this be still a formula considering that a lot of these shades are on the paler side, like how they would show up. Then there is the other eyeshadow palette, and this is the more neutral leaning, and this has a bit more depth to it, and I think this actually kind of looks like, there's like a nice pop of red here, and then they have this more sort of cooler tone neutrals in it, so this could be, I think, more in terms of how much impact I like in my eyeshadow that I could be interested in. And both of them, I do have to say, like the water, I don't know how they have managed to get the covers look like they have this sort of water like effect on the top of it, but this looks like, makes this look like very pleasing to look. Then about the powders, like both of these, the highlighter I think is something that goes with the sort of more neutral leaning darker eyeshadow palette, and then the sort of ombre blush I think is meant to go with the sort of pinkish minty palette. However, I do have to say that the blush looks like very pale sort of pink, so I think for many people this would also maybe, especially if you sort of mix in the sort of like lighter greenish and the pinkish shade, then this could actually end up just looking like powder on your cheeks. The prices aren't like horrendously expensive. The eyeshadow palettes are $30 each, and then there the blushes and highlighter are $23 each. So I don't know. I haven't seen like reviews of this yet, so I'd be quite curious to see like how this compares to sort of other very popular brands, like to sort of Flower Nose, which I do think in terms of pricing is quite on similar level, or then for example, what was the more? Florasis, which is like the more expensive one. So it would be interesting to see maybe some reviews how these compare to these sort of other very hyped Asian brands. But yeah, I think those were the last releases I wanted to talk about for today. I don't think there was like that lot. I think there was like it was very quiet couple of 2 weeks. Like there are a few complexion products, which I'm thinking that am I moving from eyeshadows to actually be more interested in cheek products, but just like generally when I was looking at the like products releases that have come out, like in terms of eyeshadows, which I usually think that I'm more interested in, like there wasn't now a lot. And also like I have been now eyeing, like I just checked my Instagram before I started filming that had there been any late new launches, and they're really, I don't know, is it the brands are now slowing down before the summer collection start. We like have seen now a few summer collections from luxury brands that I did show you, but I still think we're like waiting, majority of the summer launches are still to come, so I don't know, are we having a bit of a break there, but I think that might be also good for our wallets. But anyway, I would love to hear what you thought about the releases. Was there some release that I didn't talk about that I missed but you are interested in trying or buying? If you like this video, then push the like button, subscribe to the channel and ring the bell button if you want to get notification from my future content. You can also find me with the same nickname, Makeup Hedgehog, on Instagram. I hope I will be seeing you very soon in another video. Bye bye!